eventually is.
That's not the first time we've seen a superstar in green and white sacrifice the body.
Knocked away.
Welcome into another episode of First to the Floor. Ben Vallis here. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. Alongside me here is Jake Eisenberg. He has returned from his European adventure, but we're also very happy to be joined by a very special guest, Celtics superfan, the king of Celtics social media. He was quote tweeted by Jason Tatum just earlier today. It's Green Runs Deep. Welcome, man. How you doing?
What's up, my brothers? I'm very happy to come on here. First to the floor, Celtics in 4. You know the fucking vibes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're throwing that straight into the next intro. That's awesome. Thanks, dude. Yeah, we're so happy to have you. How are you doing? How are you keeping busy this off season?
I'm hanging in there. I'm spending a lot of time with my family right now. But at the same time, like, my nose is in my phone, getting every single ounce of Celtics content. I really like what you guys have been doing. You guys have been building your podcast up, and we talked for a long time about me jumping on an episode. I was just waiting till you got to this moment where you guys are right now, and you guys are catching steam. Nah, I'm just kidding. I gave you guys a shout out on Twitter because I do respect what you guys are doing right now. And this is like the deadest month of the whole NBA year. And you guys are giving the people content. And you guys do it because you guys love the team just like I do. So that's why I respect you guys as much as I do.
I really appreciate it, man. The feeling's mutual. And this is where we thrive as, I guess, the 20th-ish best Celtics podcast out there is when there's no games on, you just have to make shit up to get by. That's our strong suit there. Would you agree, Jake?
That's right. The more nonsense, the better. The closer we get to insanity, the quality of the content just levels up. And I think when we're getting on GRD here, I think he fits right into this little niche. Let's get the energy up. Let's fire away some off-season takes.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, this league that we all choose to follow and love is drama filled like 11 months out of the year. I always say August is like the dead month, but we out here. So the people that are tuned into this episode, I'll pat them all on the back because those are real fans that are tapping in with us too. So I have a lot of respect for people that rock with the Shamrock 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even in August. I fuck with you guys.
Likewise. All right, well, look, let's get into some of this off-season stuff. And the first thing I want to ask you is, how are you coping with, how are you progressing with getting over Marcus Smart being traded, something that we never thought would happen? It's happened now. How are you dealing with that?
To be honest, I never looked at Marcus as like an untouchable guy. I looked at Marcus as like I feel like the Celtics went as far as they could with him. Unfortunately, they never got that ring in 22. And I don't know. I really believe the Celtics are like they were due for like just a shakeup, and I think this was a smart move, and I'm really excited to be honest. So, as much as it was sad, I know you guys were on Instagram. You guys were live when the midnight trade broke down, 11:52 at night, and I was shocked. I was like, nobody expected that shit, but at the same time, it took me like a week to get over it, and I really like the return. And I don't know, I feel as though we know basketball. Brad Stevens must have got that offer, and he's like, "Holy shit, I gotta take this!" Like he sold really high on a good part of the team, but I like the return. Like I said, I'm excited.
You have to be. And like you talking about that return, I've been looking at like the 25-26 season, like looking at getting Derek White extended and all this stuff. And it's like the cap's going to get tight. And then you look at like we've got this Warriors first round pick and this our own first round pick. Like you need cheap value, like cheap talent on the roster. And all of a sudden it's like Brad's playing for now while also playing for the future. Like you can't fault the return. Like, and you know, as I watch more and more Porzingis highlights, I'm getting more and more over the Marcus Smart trade.
Hell yeah! To be honest, you seen this guy torch us last season, and that should be enough to just say like, "Yo, I will welcome this guy with a smile."
Yes.
Plus, he follows me on He follows me on Twitter, so
Okay.
Marcus over the last like 9 years never followed me on Twitter. So
Oh man.
Kristaps is already getting a welcome to Boston real quick.
Yeah,
love it.
I was looking at your Twitter account earlier. Just, we like to scope out our guests before we have them on. You follow one person on Twitter, and that person is Kristaps Porzingis, which I thought was amazing.
I mean, in the off season, I was getting sick of people being so negative, so I just unfollowed everybody, and the only person I follow right now, Kristaps. I'm still tapped in. I still know what everybody's saying. All the people talking trash about the Celtics. I'm taking screenshots and wait until we hoist that banner in June, and then I'm putting everybody on blast.
I love the energy. I love the energy so much. And speaking of energy, we have a mailbag question from First of the Floor superfan Michael. No relation to anyone on this podcast at all, but as a Marcus Smart fan, I was always annoyed that the national media did not appreciate him. So why the fuck are they giving him so much love now and overrating him? That also goes for Grant Williams as well. So I feel like, national media was very quick to say Marcus Smart overrated, Grant Williams overrated. But now you listen to national podcasts, local podcasts, and Marcus Smart's the savior for the Grizzlies, and Grant Williams is about to be the savior for the Mavericks. I'm not sure I see there's a cognitive dissonance going on here, GRD.
Okay, I'll throw my input on this. 2 or 3 years ago on the trade deadline when the Celtics got Evan Fournier, the Celtics were actively shopping Marcus around. And to get him off of the Celtics with a team-friendly deal, I thought, they were going to have to attach picks to him. So then, all of a sudden, they gave this guy free reins and let him be the point guard, and he boosted his value. He got the DPOY, and then last year, his value fell a little bit, but Brad still sold the guy high. So I don't care what anybody says. Like, the Celtics made a smart move, if you ask me. Do you remember that, though? When the Celtics were actively shopping Smart and, like, did I want him gone at that time? Hell no. It was the year that, like, Aaron Gordon was getting mentioned, this and that. But I believe they sold that on Smart when the value was where it was, and I'm very happy with the return, like I keep reiterating.
Ben, what do you reckon about this? I don't know, it feels like a reevaluation of Marcus Smart's value after he's left the Celtics by the national media.
Yeah, and it's certainly like a grass is always greener situation. Like he was the scapegoat, and Grant Williams as well. Like I'm gonna make them both is a recent example. The scapegoat for many Celtics losses and pitfalls. But as soon as they go, it's like, what are you doing? Like this is the culture. This is the team's culture. You've shipped them right out the door. What are you doing? That's irreplaceable. And yet we spent the whole time that they were on the team basically completely shitting on them. So that's just classic mainstream media, right? They're gonna choose the narrative that generates the most clicks, and that's just what they're backing at this point. But 2 first-round picks back to Boston, along with Kristaps Porzingis, who just had the best season of his life. I'm terrified about this Latvia FIBA situation coming up. I don't think I can even watch the games. I'm so afraid that he's going to gallow his knees.
And I love the World Cup too.
So yeah, I love the World Cup. I'll be watching the Aussies and the US, but I'm staying away from Latvia. But
I'm rooting for Canada. They need to make it so they could be in the Olympics. They haven't been out there in a while, so they got a crazy roster.
They'll be in there.
I believe so. They got a Celtic on their team too. Osei is gonna play on Team Canada.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah, cool.
I didn't know that. But yeah, I mean, they got the Shea Jamal Murray backcourt. Like that's pretty nasty. So
they're playing a win. I think Canada's coming for that.
For sure.
Josh Giddey's coming for them all.
Yeah, that's right.
Sticking with Porzingis, the big zing dog. Are you all in on Porzingis, or do you have some doubts? Like obviously he's had some tumultuous seasons recently, some injury concerns. Are you all in on the fact that he's first of all going to complement the Jays and then just individually have some success in Boston as well?
So number one, I'm like, I don't mean to be all excited about it, but like I was jumping for joy when the first trade broke with the Malcolm Brogdon. Obviously, everybody and their mother was going nuts. I was so excited. Then when we did have to trade Smart, I got kicked in the nuts a little bit. But then when I came back to reality, I realized, this motherfucker is 7'2", and can shoot threes and can defend in the paint. We're gonna rock him and Rob down low. Who's scoring on us this year? I don't know. I met Porzingis at a UFC event, like in 2020 when it was a McGregor fight. I was talking to him, and I told him at the time his record was like 2-16 against the Celtics, and I told that to him, and I said, when you're on the Celtics, you don't have to face the Celtics, so come to the Celtics. That was like when he was still on the Knicks, I believe. But
That's amazing.
yeah, so it's kind of crazy that he's a Celtic now. I'm always like, I keep stupid things in my head to say to players when I see them, but I'll never forget that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I do the same thing too, except my chance of running into them is like exponentially lower being where I am. But I'm glad that you're carrying the torch. Yeah, well,
I'm a cheerleader. I'm
Exactly.
a cheerleader for the Celtics 24/7.
Well, now when you run into KP, he's gonna remember that and be like, dude, I took your advice. It took me about
Took me a
5 years
while.
it took me about 5 years too long. And you're gonna be like, that's right, KP. Now you got to come on the First to the Floor podcast. We'll get a 4-way going. And
That would be a good idea. Does he? He speaks good English. We could get his ass on
Oh
here.
yeah. He's
Fully
actually
support that.
he's like low key pretty funny. So I'm excited for some of his media stuff.
People have said some things about his brothers. His brothers are big fans and they go to the games too. So hopefully I link up with them.
There we go.
Hell yeah.
I love it. But I mean, I'm pretty all in on the Porzingis fit on the Celtics now. Like when you already say, they needed a bit of a shake up and they needed to maybe change their identity to like get them to this next level. That makes them like a real perennial contender, which I guess they already were. But the versatility that I think Porzingis gives them on offense, like I love Al, I love Rob. Horford's become a sniper. Rob's an elite lob threat. Porzingis is both a better shooter, a more willing shooter, more range than Horford. He's a lob threat like Rob is, but also you can give it to Rob in the post. He can, as you saw those, if you're watching on YouTube, you saw I ran some highlights. You can watch two minutes of KP highlights, and he's a 3-level scorer at 7'2", while also being an elite rim protector. As you said, we've touched on the zone that they're running in Summer League, but to see Rob and KP back there protecting the rim, I think, especially from a regular season perspective, I think the Celtics could just like dominate teams on a night-to-night basis, like just playing the math game, getting up and down the court. I'm with you, GRD. Like I think KP is going to be a really good fit.
He shoots threes. He's gonna defend in the paint. He's picked his number because he saw a Photoshop that I made of him. He's white. This dude's jersey is gonna fly in Boston. All these white boys are gonna be wearing number 8 jerseys. God damn. I can't wait to see this guy put the uniform on. I'm excited. I get excited when I see this guy wearing just the warm-ups. He was wearing like a Celtics shirt in his country, like putting in work. I get excited for that. So wait until media day. I'm gonna be losing it.
I think Jonas Jerebko as well, famous white guy, number 8 Celtic, a couple of years back.
That's right, the Swedish fish.
I think that I'm pretty sure that his own country deserted him because he was like playing in Russia. My boy Jonas.
Oh man.
He like after the war on Russia, he was like playing over there. So now his country like told him, "You're not welcome back to our country." Some crazy shit.
Shit. All right. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen to Porzingis. Hopefully,
he's good.
I can't wait to see him attack those Miami Heat zones and just get into the nail, get in the ball, lob pass, only where Porzingis can catch it and play make or shoot out of that. I cannot wait to see that version of the Celtics. Before we move on, we've got to get to a quick ad read here from our sponsor, FanDuel.
The CLNS Media Network is powered by FanDuel. Sign up at FanDuel.com/Boston and get in on the action with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed.
We've got some new ad copy here. Football season is about to kick off, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to win all season long because right now, when you bet on a Super Bowl winner, you can get a bonus bet every time they win in the regular season. Just pick any team to win the Super Bowl, and you'll get a bonus bet for every victory. You can use your bonus bets on spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Boston and start earning bonus bets with America's #1 sportsbook. That's FanDuel.com/Boston. GRD, I'll ask you because I know almost nothing about the NFL other than playing Madden every now and then. Who do you think's going to win the Super Bowl this year? And why is it the Patriots?
This year, I think I don't want to pick one of the favorites. I'll give the people the odds. I think the New York Jets are gonna win the Super Bowl.
Oh, come on.
First time since 1969. They wear green. I think the Jets might win.
Wow, green runs deep.
Oh man,
You know the fucking vibes.
I can't co-sign that one, unfortunately.
What do you mean? I'm telling you, that's good odds. You don't want me to say, oh, the Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles. I'm giving the people some good odds. Jets are probably plus 1,800. Make your money right there. I'll see you in Vegas February 8th, Super Bowl.
Okay, I like it. From a long odds perspective, I like it. But that little caveat, you get a bonus bet every time your team wins a regular season game. That's why I would go with a favorite. That's why I would go with the Chiefs, because they're going to win 13 games. You're going to get a bonus bet every time. But hey, look,
I like that little bonus FanDuel's throwing you guys. I like that.
I like it. But look, if you're, I've placed my Pats to win the AFC East bet at like plus 750. So you want good odds.
Yo, this is what you did right there. You just burn your money up in the air.
Probably, but I need something to convince myself to actually get excited to watch these games, because it was a rough watch on the Pats last season, but that's all right.
Yeah, you're better off drinking bleach if you think the Patriots are gonna win the Super Bowl.
AFC East, not winning the Super Bowl.
I don't think so.
I think you might be right.
Next topic.
Yes, right. All right. The much more interesting, much more niche topic. The Boston Celtics have reportedly offered Svi Mykhailiuk a contract. He is deciding between the Boston Celtics and Panathinaikos, which is the professional team in Athens. And you'd think after just visiting Athens, I would have been able to pronounce the professional basketball team slightly better than I just attempted there. But do you have any thoughts on Svi potentially wearing green next season?
I do know when he faced the Celtics, he fucking torched the Celtics. So and if you're going off of that, you got Kristaps after he torched the Celtics. You going after this clown that torched the Celtics. I think he signed me up. But also, how is this guy like? What the fuck is the choice between a Euro team and the Boston Celtics 17-time champions? How is that even a choice?
Well, here's the choice. He's not going to play for the Boston Celtics. Probably
ain't getting a ring.
Yeah. Hey, here's the thing. He's 26 years old. This guy might actually want to get a couple dribbles in, get a couple shots up. So I think he's tossing up banner 18 with actually playing.
I think he earns more money in Greece as well.
I think
Greece
he might actually
going to
get
pay him more money. Yeah.
Okay, maybe he's looking for paper, but if I was him, I'll come to Boston, eat some lobster over here, and put a banner in the sky, etch his name in history, and he will never have to pay for a meal in the city ever again. It's a no-brainer to play for the Boston Celtics if it's really on the table.
I do wonder if the Svi's agent is using the Celtics as like a little bit of leverage here to maybe get a little more money in Greece. But hey, look, as far as your 14th roster spot goes, I don't hate it. It's like 6'7", 26 years old. Last 3 seasons, he shot 38% from 3. And this isn't a Grant Williams 38% from 3 where he only shoots wide open threes. This dude is like this dude fires. He's like Sam.
I know.
He gets a sliver of daylight and he'll fire away. So like he does put a bit of pressure on defenses from that perspective, but you could do a lot worse as your 14th man. And not to go back to the Schadenfreude report from last episode, you could sign 30-year-old, which I checked today, which I did not realize that Thanasis Antetokounmpo is 30. You know, the upside. You could get that could have been your 14th, 15th man. So we could do worse with speed. I do have a question.
He's a glorified cheerleader.
That's right.
I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name, but I know his game. If he wants to sign with Boston, I want that guy.
All right, I love it. Well, okay, so I'm gonna give you some other available free agents here, and I'm gonna give you both of you, and I'll take one as well. One pick, and which of these guys can you talk yourself into being a 14th or 15th man for the Celtics next season? We got Christian Wood, Kelly Oubre, Hamidou Diallo.
Fuck him.
Blake Griffin, Gorgie Dang, DeMarcus Cousins, Wenyen Wenyen Gabriel, Jermichael Green, Ish Smith, Celtics killer, Rudy Gay, who's 37, Lamar Stevens, Javonte Green, Jalen Noel, Austin Rivers, John Wall, Terrence Davis, or Boban Marjanovic. Any of those guys jump out to you?
Yeah, GRD, you got the first pick. Who you got? I take it it's not Kelly Oubre.
I'm a vibes guy. I want Blake Griffin back. The vibes were good with Blake Griffin. The Bus One boys. Bring Blake Griffin back. And yeah, he still needs a banner on his fucking resume. So bring Blake Black.
Yeah, I agree
Blake
with that.
Back. Let's go.
I hope that because we've got a 15th roster spot as well, right? So I'm hopeful that we're just hanging out, or Blake's hanging out to fill that 15th roster spot. I know you sort of scoffed at this, GRD, but Kelly Oubre.
I hate that guy. When was it that the Celtics and him went at it? Was it when he was with Washington in the playoff series?
That's right.
Yeah.
He bum rushed
Kelly versus Kelly.
Yeah. That's right. That's when he was
right.
a young pup. Now, Ben, I know Kelly Oubre. He's a shiny object. He's a name you recognize. He's put up numbers, but there's like some alarming like assist stats with him. Like he has like a 20. Okay, yeah, like 23% usage with Charlotte with like a 4% assist rate. On a team where we're already a little worried about passing and playmaking, I would be very hesitant to add a guy that like pretty much does not know how to pass the ball. So
yeah, I mean,
but
he
name.
can defend a little bit, can't he? He can defend somewhat. and
He's a prima donna. This team needs a bully, and Kelly Oubre is a pussy.
So okay,
I don't want him.
We're looking at these other names here, right? So Christian Wood, maybe Hamidou Diallo sort of fits that wing player archetype who's like less of a douchebag. Maybe he's a better option for the Celtics.
I like douchebags. I want somebody that's gonna punch somebody in the face.
Okay, all right. Well, maybe Diallo is the way to go there. I think Javonte Green is probably the name that stands out to me the most as far as that positional need.
Yeah,
he's friends with Tatum. He's been a Celtic. He's a dunker.
He follows me on Instagram. I like him.
There we go.
Sold.
He makes fun of me because of when I dressed up like a taco, though. Every time he sees me, that's what he calls me, a taco.
That's funny. I might start making fun of you for that as well.
That's fucked up.
I do wonder that Javonte's knee is an issue because I'm surprised that he hasn't been signed because he was legitimately good for the Bulls before he went down. Man, there's something with the Bulls and knee injuries at the moment between Lonzo and now Javonte's knee as well. I actually think that that's why he hasn't been signed yet because he was quality role player for both the Celtics and the Bulls. I think that he wouldn't be looking for a big contract. Like I think Kelly Oubre is maybe holding out for like a slightly bigger contract than the minimum, but Javonte Green would be at the top of my list. I think that his knee might be cooked. I think Hamidou Diallo is kind of like Javonte Green light, very athletic, a worse shooter than Javonte, but injecting some athleticism into the team, I think is a good idea. Austin Rivers, I think he's actually still good, but I think he actually wants to play. And so on a team like the Celtics, we're not really able to offer anyone real playing time. And so someone like Austin Rivers, I think veteran presence would be good. But I think GRD, you took Ben's pick. Let's be honest, Blake Griffin. I think the vibes are important, and he was actually good. He was actually good.
He draws the charges. He's into every game on the bench, yelling at the guys. I like that.
Yeah, dude. And like he played in Al's not going to play in back-to-backs. I liked the method of Blake Griffin didn't really play unless Al was resting, guys were injured, and they started him. They surrounded him.
And he stepped up when, like you said, he contributed a couple times.
Talk about the one that comes to mind is the Philly game where both Al and Rob are out. He hits 5 threes. They get a win. He got a couple of stops on Embiid. Like Blake's a really smart player, and when you surround him with a bunch of smart, talented guys like the Celtics have, he can fill a role for 15 minutes a game, like 10 games a season, and just be like. And you talk about the vibes, the crowd, the bench. No one injects more energy into the Celtics than when Blake Griffin makes a play or when, Ben, it might be time.
Green gets one from White. Now he gives it to White. Blake Griffin throws it down. Throw it up.
You have just made
GRD.
my day. You have made my day,
You-
Jake. Thank you.
GRD, you probably at that game. You know it better than anybody else. Like, if we can get the Garden cranked up a notch, if Blake Griffin gets the Garden cranked up a notch, like 10 times a season, that's probably worth the veterans minimum.
Hell yeah. Sign me up. I want it.
I
And
love it.
I'll add this in. One of the nicest guys in the world for like someone that was like one of the top 15 guys in the league. He was a MVP candidate in his career. Like, he's such a nice guy, very humble guy. So I'm a vibes guy. I'm a green teamer. Bring Blake back to Boston.
Yeah.
Get it
big
trending
time
right
love
now.
there.
Let's go.
Let's do it. All right, moving on. How's this for a deep off-season cut? So,
Oh, wait, there's one more. Harry Giles. I'm surprised that we haven't heard about him.
Oh, sure.
Well,
We're talking about one of Tatum's boyfriends already. Bring his other boyfriend too. Harry Giles to Boston too.
I'm
Make
surprised
our
he
boy
hasn't-
happy.
yeah. I'm surprised he hasn't got, because the Celtics still have the third two-way slot available.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, and like there was the reports of Tatum fighting for the third two-way slot,
Yep.
specifically for guys' eligibility to be extended if they have like an injury thing. So yeah,
All it takes one phone call and he's a Celtic. Jason Tatum gotta call somebody and make him a fucking Celtic.
give him the third two-way contract at least. Come on.
It feels like if he goes unsigned elsewhere in an actual NBA roster spot, like the Celtics will just pick him up in that third two-way spot for no other reason
Surely.
than just to appease Tatum. Like, why wouldn't you? It seems like
I'm
beneficial.
surprised it hasn't happened already. That's why I cut into you. I'm sorry for
No,
bothering
of
you
course.
guys.
No,
No,
you're the guest, man. Take it wherever
And
you want to go.
he has talent. Like, he obviously had all the injury stuff, but like he can do a lot of different stuff on the court. I would be happy giving him a two-way slot, even if Tatum wasn't on the team. So let's hope that happens.
Like right now, we're at the end of the bench. We're just talking about vibes. We talked about Blake Griffin. We talked about Javonte Green. These guys might contribute 3, 4, 5, 6 games a year, but I'm telling you this, I want the vibes, and Giles will definitely bring Tatum's energy up, this, that. I like that.
I will mention Boban as well, as from a vibesman
That's
perspective.
vibes, yeah.
Luke's
That would be funny.
Cornet's contract is non-guaranteed this upcoming year, and they'll probably just, once all the pieces are in place, they'll probably just guarantee his deal for the upcoming season. If they don't, if he gets included in a trade or whatever it may be, Boban would be a good acquisition just from a locker room vibes perspective, and to see how him and Blake Griffin would vibe together would make for a lot of interesting content, I think.
Oh,
All right,
man.
we got to move on.
You're right. We got to move on. We got to
We got to
move
move
on.
on. We've got a lot to get to in August. Unbelievable.
Shout out to the people in the chat, too.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Legends.
Shout out to everyone joining us in the live stream. We love you guys. So this is some news, if you want to call it that. Maybe something, whatever a step below news is, this is what this is. This is a quote from Brian Scalabrine. Quote, "I heard a rumor that my boy Cooper Flagg was at Jason Tatum's camp and he was busting Brad Beal one-on-one, and Brad Beal got mad at him, started cussing him out. This dude is a major trash talker. So I guess the rumor is that Brad Beal and him were squaring off one-on-one and Brad Beal was taking it lightly. It's a high school kid. Then Cooper started giving it to him. And I guess the rumor is that Cooper started talking trash and Bradley Beal got mad, like really mad. So GRD, are we believing Scal? I think this was on Drew Hanlon's podcast or in a conversation with Drew Hanlon. Are we believing these guys and the rumors about, yeah, there we go. There's a tweet up on screen if you're watching on YouTube. About Cooper Flagg taking it to Bradley Beal and Bradley Beal getting all pissed off.
I was texting Scout today about Cooper Flagg because he's been on him for like 3 years. He's been like his like NBA guy that's been like looking out for Cooper, and I don't know whether it's true, but I want to build Cooper up and believe that it's true. So I'm trying to like put all the steam behind this guy. Whenever you got a local guy from this area that's doing what he's doing, you gotta give him all the momentum. So I hope that he smacked Brad Beal in the face.
Well, he'll just be, next in the long list of Celtics that have been busting Brad Beal's ass for the last like decade. Started with
what's the history there?
Oh, well, we got Kelly Olynyk and IT busting Brad Beal back in the glory days. I mean, Jason Tatum's been dropping 50 on Brad Beal pretty much since he entered the league, and Cooper Flagg's just the next guy from Boston that's giving it to him.
I like that.
You love it.
But yeah,
all right,
so-
what else we got here?
all right.
Oh, go ahead,
Well,
Jake.
Yeah. I mean, well, GRD, like, so we don't get a lot of like number one NBA prospects that come out of like the New England area, right? So Cooper Flagg is obviously the top of the list. Are you ready to captain the ship to get Cooper Flagg to Boston? Whether,
What's it called? The flagship?
The flagship. That's right. Let's go.
No, so to be honest, like that's completely out of our hands. But what I will say is he's a Celtics fan. I was texting Scout today about, yo, we got to bring this guy to a Celtics game this year. So I just want him to come into the garden with us and get wild because the kid grew up rooting for the team. We got to show him how the crazy fans get.
Well, that's right. Well, so look, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. So like 2027, 2028, 2029, Cooper Flagg is going to be getting onto that second contract, and that's when the trade. That's right. When GRD starts posting the photoshops of Cooper Flagg in the Celtics green, and we get the trade request machine rolling, and we're going to Tatum into his late prime, Cooper Flagg entering his prime. Oh man, the Garden's going to be going crazy for that one. So we're going to give you you're going to be the captain of the Cooper Flagg ship, all right? So the flagship.
I've already been planting the seed, bro. I got kids on Instagram sending me pictures of Cooper in Celtics gear already. So we don't even need to Photoshop that shit. It's already on ice.
All right.
All right, awesome.
I'm glad to hear it.
Glad to hear that the platform is being leveraged for the right reasons.
Besides that, the kid is legit, though. The highlights that I see, he is legit. He makes me jump out of my seat, and he's only 16. Holy shit.
Dude, I saw some stats from like his most recent like tournament. It's like 38, 20, 5 assists, 5 blocks, 4 steals. Like in 3 straight games, he had like 38-point triple doubles with like 20 boards. And he's 16, and I understand it's high school, but I'm like, that's just absurd kind of stuff.
And he got a twin brother too, and his twin brother is a good hooper just like him.
All right, end of the bench. Get him on. You can have the third two-way slot. Let's go.
Nah. We're not doing no Milwaukee Bucks bullshit in Boston.
Yeah, we
you
don't
got earn a spot in this city.
That's right.
All right, well, let's move on. We want to get to know a little bit more about you, GRD, and how you've sort of come to be and built up your platform. So I'll start by asking you this. Like, how did you get to where you are now? Like, presumably you just started as a Celtics fan, just like the rest of us. At some point, you created an Instagram account, and then yada, yada, yada. Like, now you're here. You've got this huge platform. You regularly photographed with fans. We mentioned earlier you were quote tweeted by Jason Tatum, where you seemed to announce like the new colorway of his shoe earlier today. So you're intertwined so deeply in Celtics culture. What was the process like of getting from a fan to where you are now?
So first things first, just as you can see in the last like 20 minutes of us chopping it up.
Oh, I think we've lost you.
GRD. Are you getting an echo now as well?
Yep, I am getting an echo.
GRD. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, GRD.
Technical difficulties, folks. Hang on a sec. All right, Jake, can you hear me?
I got you.
Okay, and we're not echoing.
No, we're
okay.
We're not echoing.
All right, I'm going to bring GRD back in. We'll see if we can fix the sound problem here.
Oh, device not connected. That's right. He's refreshing.
He's going to come back. That's a shame because I was really excited to hear the answer to that question. He'll jump back in. He'll be fine as we stall for time on the live stream.
Anything in the chat here that we missed, but he'll be back in a second here. Everybody's here for Blake. That's what I learned from the chat here before.
All right, let's bring him back in. GRD, you with us?
Yeah, can you?
There we go.
Oh
we
got you.
That's
so much better. So you looked like you were saying something really interesting. So yeah, if you can just start from the beginning, because I'm really curious to hear this process and how it's been for you.
So basically what I can say is this, like I started as a season ticket holder way back then, and I just like I will do everything that I still do, but to a very small audience, and like I put so much time, so much effort. I met so many different people. And I don't know, like I never really thought that it would turn into what I what I got it to, because when I was like, before when I started, nobody really did what I'm doing. And like, I don't want to say I'm like media, but I have my certain niche, which is like, I love sneakers, I love hats, I love Nike gear that's coming out. And the, like you said, the sneakers that I posted, like, I love all that stuff.
Yeah, dude.
So that is where I like, my bread and butter is like letting the people know about gear. When I get my own gear, like, I love to like show it off, what I got in the mail and this and that. And over time, like that stuff, it was more like my family would make fun of me for going to the games and spending like $20,000 a year on tickets. So I decided to do what I do now to be able to pay for what I do. So like, I do things like host a watch party, and people come, pay like $5 to watch the game, and like, I'm able to monetize it at the minimum, and also meet all these people and like form real relationships. I never skipped any steps. I form relationships with some of the players' families. Their families come to these watch parties I host. Sometimes family members invite me to games. Game 7, when Tatum dropped 51 on Philadelphia this year, I was sitting in the family section right next to Jason Tatum's dad the whole game when his son was doing what he did. Like, little things like that have made me a bigger fan over the years and stuff. And I'll be honest when I say this, I just did it all because I have like a love for the team, and people see it as that, and like, it's opened some crazy amounts of doors, you know?
Well, wait, tell us about that. What was it like sitting next to Tatum's dad during that?
Oh my
like,
God, I'm
like
a father.
one of the
I'm a father.
Cool.
So it was more like, I got videos on my phone that I posted over time where it's like Tatum will bury a shot and I'll pan to his dad, and his dad's just like soaking it all in, this and that. And me and him are like dapping each other up because his dad is a real hooper too. Justin Tatum.
Yeah.
He got some highlight tapes on the internet, and he's been following my page since Tatum was drafted. Like, I chop it up with him back and forth now and then. And he's actually a scout for one of the Australian teams now. I think
Illawarra Hawks.
Exactly. We were talking about that in the playoffs. When Tatum made the record for 51 points, one of my affiliates that I do work with, they made a bobblehead with him, like commemorating the most points in a game 7. And I got one of the bobbleheads for his dad. So next time I see his dad, I'm gonna give him a nice gift for himself to remember it.
Nice.
That's
nice. That's
awesome, man. Like,
but those are the things I live for, bro. Little stories like that. Like I said, I got a couple of these guys' phone numbers over time, and like in the playoffs when the Celtics were down to Philadelphia in game 5, when it was in our house, Jaylen Brown's brother was in the like, you know, in the arena in the outside. I was in there. I wasn't even in my seat because the Celtics were sucking so bad. Like, I had to watch it on the TV. I was getting so mad. Me and Quentin Brown were in there, and this guy was flipping out at me. What the fuck? These guys are 2 25-year-old guys and they can't win. Like, yo, for players' families to open up to me like that, and like, that shit is what I live for, bro. So I'm living like a fan's dream pretty much.
Yeah. Well, it does seem like you like have every fan's dream job. Like, when did you know that it was getting serious for you? Like, I'm just curious to hear, at what point did it go from this is a hobby, I'm a big fan, I've got a nice little social media following, to like, hang on, like, I can make a living out of this?
Like, first of all, I do not make a living out of this. Like, I don't want little kids to think that what I do is like a stable income. Like, I need health insurance. You need fucking 401k in this country. I got children, so I got my own company. I got my own real job and this and that. But this is just my fun little hobby that I've turned into what it is now. And to answer your question, like, it was a surreal moment, like going to games and just, instead of fans wanting to take a picture with like Gordon Hayward and at a Gordon Hayward charity event that I helped him with, people were starting to line up and take pictures with me. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm just a 30-year-old virgin. Why these kids like me, bro? I'm a clown, you know. But I eat it up, and honestly, each person that I meet, I make a relationship with them, and I make them feel like they got a brother in Boston. Whether they are guys like you from Australia, you come here, we'll go eat where I eat, drink what I drink. I'll take care of whoever comes here like they're my own friend forever, and I want them to know like that's who I am, who I always been. I never really like walk around like with the ego or nothing. I'm one of the 18,000 in the arena, but when I post things on the internet, a couple more people see it. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, like the passion that you have for the team and for what you're doing, I think really comes through in your content. But I think it's really cool for us to, and the people listening to get that today as well. So I really appreciate you sharing all that. So like you get to go to all these games, right? So how many games are you getting to per season? And then my second question is like, do you pick up different things being in the stadium versus being at home? Like I went to 2 games in that 22 playoffs, but I was just more I was just in a state of trance, being so excited to finally be at the Garden for the first time in my life. I was at the Game 2 Nets game, whereas the 17-point comeback, Peyton Pritchard fourth quarter takeover.
Damn.
So like I was just like having the ecstasy. It was I wasn't actually taking anything basketball related in. But do you find that like being at the games, you're able to pick up more or different stuff on the court versus like just watching at home?
So that's actually a really unique question that I'll answer in a couple of different ways. Like, first and foremost, I'll tell you this. I used to like to go to these games by myself and just go there and get content. And I like to just show the people that are not able to go to the games the experience. But then it all changed when all these kids come up to me for a picture. They think I'm like fucking like I'm the Rock or something at the games. And I don't ever want to let that get to my head, but I want to focus on getting more content and making people that are at home laugh through the phone, this, that. So it's like when I go to a game, my head is in like 1,000 different directions. Like I'm getting message from my friend that lives in California. Hey, can you give me the bobblehead that they're giving away, please? So I'm like, I try to be cool with everybody and make everyone happy at the same time. But also like, I care about taking some good photos, taking videos, posting them on the internet before everybody else, this, that. Like, I don't know how to really like describe my main game day thing, but I'll also answer the question about how many games. I try to go to at least like 30 regular season games. And then lately in the playoffs, I do not want to miss any playoff game. I got to be in the house for the playoffs.
Of course.
But like I told you, I'm self-funded. My Celtics tickets for the season, $15,000 for regular season. If they make it all the way to the finals, the playoffs is another $15,000. So my fat ass got to go to work in the morning when I come home from the games to make the money, you know? So
yeah, that's my mistake. It's just what you do. It looks so illustrious and professional. I just assumed you were making big bank off of it, but you're one of us in that sense, and that you Celtics
hell
obsession,
yeah, bro.
absolutely self-funded. And shout out to all the Aussie fans who have made the pilgrimage over to the States, spending 6-7 figures to get over there. It's an expensive
flight
visit
for you guys is a G right there. Tickets to
Easy.
a game when you go. I know Jake said he sat upstairs, but most people when they come, they want to sit good. That's another 500 to 1,000 depending on what game it is. Like
Oh yeah, no. I was like 15 rows back, and it's expensive, man. And that was just the first round of the playoffs. I know Ben went to the finals. So
So like I told you, sometimes I get to do this. Sell my seats, make a couple bucks, so I could keep my family happy so they don't make fun of me for spending all my money on the Celtics. And then maybe one of the players' families shoots me a message saying they got extra ticket. I get to slide in for free. So maybe I'm getting hooked up in that sense over time. Maybe my homie Marcus over here at the pizza stand gives me a free slice of pizza. Little things like that. That's what I do. I'm good for that.
Got it. Love it.
So here we
go
go.
ahead. Go ahead, Nick.
In the playoffs, Jalen mentioned that the Garden hadn't been loud enough. I think this was in the Heat series. We were coming home for game 5, I believe, of the Heat series. They just got it to 3-1, coming back to make it 3-2. And he kind of called the Garden out a little bit. You'll know better than us. I thought I felt it through the TV through round 1 and 2 a little bit as well, that the Garden wasn't quite at the same level as the year previous. What was your assessment of the Garden crowd in this year's playoffs?
So first and foremost, when you say that, you're attacking my character. You're attacking something personal. That's like talking about my family right there. But I'll say this. I don't believe Jaylen Brown was being like in a bad way. He was just trying to get the people going. You feel me? But if you ask me, I'll talk about what we just talked about. The ticket prices are at an all-time high. Mm-hmm. The effed up thing is, people are paying the ticket prices on the aftermarket, this and that. So that has to do with this drunk Joe from Brockton going to the game, and they can't go and buy a ticket in the balcony for like $50 like they used to, $40 anymore. Mm-hmm. It's usually now it's like $100 to get in, then $20 a beer. Shit. Yeah. It's expensive. So that is definitely what is being I read about it a lot on the internet, and like the real fans are getting bought out, unfortunately. And I'm not saying that fans don't got money, because there's fans like me that will pay the penny and they'll scream their head off from the beginning of the game till the end. But if you ask me, that's definitely like a factor these days.
I think that's definitely having an impact. I have my own theory in that the team last year was because they played so badly in the first half of the season, and then we took off in the second half. Like the Celtics were 50-1 to win the title like halfway through the year.
I had them on that shit.
Me too. Because every week there was a game where you're like, this team is awesome. I'm 100% sure that
they
this
were
team
beating everybody by 20.
Yeah, and so
when we got to the playoffs, when?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about
Minnesota Sunday night game when Rob got hurt.
Yeah,
I feel like a piece of me died that day.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
But and they never quite got back to that level. But like I think from a crowd perspective and a fan perspective, there was this like coming to the playoffs. There was like there was an underdog vibe to it more so than now that they're like the perennial favorites. It's a different kind of fan experience where every time you win a game, it feels like relief. And then also this team recently, they kept dropping games that they shouldn't have, which did happen last season. But like the first round of the playoffs last year, they sweep the Nets. All good games, but they locked in and they got the games they needed to get. This year against the Hawks, they take it to 6. They have that disgusting Game 5 game in Boston where they choke away a lead, which happened multiple times in the playoffs. So I feel like the Celtics crowd had like this like nervousness, just like they felt like the Celtics were going to shit themselves, and they were kind of proven correct. And I think that does impact the psyche of like 18,000 people, because it starts to ripple. You know, one guy next to you says, "Oh, here we go again." Or some dude in the elevator is like, "Oh, they're going to piss away this lead again too." And it's like it starts to ripple. That's my theory, and I'm hoping that this season they take care of business in those moments to build confidence back in the fan base and in the crowd.
That fucking impacted me at home, man. I'm a happy guy. No, I walk around happy, like joyous. I love my life. And all through April, May, I was not in a good place. I wasn't sleeping. I was waking up in the middle of the night. My wife's checking on me. My daughter's vibing with me weirdly. I was just not in the right headspace. But I can only imagine what that does to 18,000 people in an arena who are completely, absolutely convinced that the Celtics are going to piss a 10-point lead down their leg in the final 4 minutes of a game. So I don't know. Does that ring true when you're in the arena, GRD?
So these are all good things, all good points. I respect them. But a relationship with the Celtics and me, it's like that girlfriend that cheats on you and then you go back to her all the time. You always think they're going to win, though. I go into every damn game thinking like, yo, there's no way in hell they're going to lose to Atlanta in Game 5. We're going crazy in the stands for them. And then when they do, I'm devastated.
That's the complex that we all deal with as human beings. A couple of questions. Go ahead.
How about when we was playing the Magic, this, that, the OKC Thunder a couple years ago, losing to those? That shit makes me more angry than it should.
Yeah, because those games wrap up at like midday here, and I mean, first of all, I don't know how you guys go to sleep after those games, but we've got to wander around.
I don't.
In the world, like we care about other things for the rest of the day when those losses happen here, and it's very, very hard. It's very difficult. All right,
Yeah,
couple
my
of things
kids could put themselves to sleep. This, that, now.
Exactly. Yeah, Dad's busy tonight. All right, a couple of things to wrap up on here. Who is the worst fan base to deal with from your perspective, and why is it Philly?
Philly is a layup, but I'm going to go to another extent. I'm really sick and tired of the Miami Heat bullshit. They think that they deserve Dame Lillard, this, that. They crying all over the internet. They think that they really beat us in Game 7 when it was all because Tatum got his leg twisted. I'm still pissed that we didn't make history. It's a bunch of 60-year-old guys with 20-year-old girlfriends in the stadium over there. But I will say this about Philly. I went there this year. There was a couple little kids there, like no older than 10 years old, following me around, like flipping me off.
I saw this. Yeah.
Yeah, man. They got some crazy people over there. I can't wait to go back over there. And you know why I like to go there? Because it's like David versus Goliath. Every time I go there, the Celtics fucking win. I like that.
That is the best part of that relationship, is that we always win.
I was there when those stupid idiots dropped confetti, blah, blah, blah. All these people walking out of there like they just went to a funeral, and they fucking did the next game. Celtics lost, but then they won and won after that. So they went to their own funeral.
That's right.
So good. That's like the biggest piece of Celtics memorabilia that I wish I had in my life, is a piece of that confetti. I know Sam Jam Packard brags about having some of it at his house. Oh, man, I wish I could have caught some of that.
But that game is crazy. Like, thinking today on that game, like there's been like numerous like podcasts like talking about that game, this, that. But in the moment, it was Cinco de Mayo, I believe. I was on another level of craziness that day. The last thing I would ever think about is getting a piece of that. So that is epic that dudes got that shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Now to wrap up here, GRD, we haven't won a championship since 2008, which is 15 years now, which is a crazy drought. What would a Celtics championship celebration look like for Green Runs Deep?
Geez, over the years, I've definitely matured a little bit. I changed. I don't drink anymore for 2 years now. I'm a behaved boy. But I believe if the Celtics win Banner 18, I might go into a different level. I might go wild. I will say this. I'm going into every single bag I have to get my fat ass on a duck boat. That's what I care about.
Nice.
I got this relationship with this guy. I had Gordon Hayward and his wife already say they would have brought me if they would have won when he was on the team. I got a couple of players right now that they don't even know what the hell a duck boat parade is, but they got messages between me and them saying they'll bring me on the duck boat when they win. So I don't care what I got to do. I'll be on the duck boat for that parade.
That's right. We'll go live from Australia, and then we'll bring you in from the duck boat. We'll dial you in.
It'll be great.
But bigger than that, I tell all my friends, because I'm not just the only crazy fan. We got hundreds of GRDs out there like me that they don't care about social media, this, that. But I tell all those people, I'm renting a couple duck boats, and we're gonna have a Celtics fan parade too right after the Celtics have theirs. And that's on everything. I care about that. I will do that shit for the city. Celtics
there's that one guy. He's in the stands every day. He wears like the suit and the chain. Sometimes I feel like he's wearing like a mohawk thing. Am I misremembering that?
There's chicken head. That's my boy Nate Dogg.
That's right. Okay, I was like,
he's got around before the games in his green Corvette. Hell yeah, that's my boy Nate.
I love it. That's
every single game, this guy after the game lighting one up too. He's the man. I like Nate Dogg.
I like Nate Dogg too.
if there's a fan-based duck boat parade, Jake, we might have to get on a plane.
Yeah,
I
think so.
That will be well worth it right there.
Absolutely.
There's
Oh,
some
man.
characters in Celtics Nation.
Oh yeah,
That's-
I've met a few of them in my time. I've been over there a bunch of times. First time in 2011, so I've had the pleasure of going to TD Garden. I've spent way too much money, and somehow I still convinced my wife to marry me. And we're about to head over to Summer League in next July in Vegas as well, and
We'll be
and
there.
blow a whole bunch more cash on that as well. So prayers up for my relationship with my wife.
I
there.
really do like what they've been doing with Summer League. How
Yeah.
they've been making it like it's definitely something to go to. They have more than just the games going on nowadays.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh,
Really looking forward to
That's
that.
awesome.
Well, look, Green runs deep. Look, you were the first Celtics person outside of the actual team that I followed on social media. So it's really nice for this to come full circle and to have you on the podcast.
You're my
tonight.
first brother from Reddit, my man. You my
Let's
guy.
go.
There you go. Shout out the Celtics Reddit podcast. Look, absolutely love the content that you're bringing, man. The energy that you're putting out into the world every day. It was a pleasure to have you on, man. Thank you so much.
First to the floor, baby. Thank you for my first time on the party, and I'm coming back on here too.
You know it,
go.
man.
Get it.
Looking forward to it. All right. Now, look, if you're not already following Green Runs Deep, you really should be at Green Runs Deep on Instagram or at Celtics GRD on Twitter. That's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for joining us. Next week, we're back with live Celtics trivia. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel to jump on as a live audience member for that one. Jake, love your work, mate. Until next time, go Celtics.